Thank you for Bashori for that introduction. And hello and welcome to everybody who's here today. We're going to look at the EQA performance dashboard and what does it mean. We're going to look at why it's important and also how this dashboard can assist UK NEQAS participants in reviewing your performance and also the next steps that we have planned for our dashboard. So the performance dashboard is a way to provide laboratories with a visual representation of their performance for each instrument and analyte that you are all registered for. You can help you to utilize the dashboard by providing participants with a summary of their EQA status. It also helps participants to easily track your results, identify trends, and benchmark against peers. It will give you the ability to drill down into the information to identify and troubleshoot any issues promptly, so such as method-related issues or process issues. You can also use it for quality review, report back findings through a root cause analysis form, and it also will save both us and you time. Where we have performance issues, we would traditionally email out our participants or send letters out to participants, and you will contact us back. So it will save us both time in terms of being able to interact with each other regarding any issues that we need to identify with and resolve. This dashboard is being actively used by UK NEQAS Immunology, and feedback from them have said that it's convenience of accessing our lab's EQA status in a single location, with all the data analysis already completed, saving time for our quality managers. So to access the dashboard, you need to go to the ukneqas.org website, as you would normally do, to log on to submit results. So I'm just going to share the screen. Bushori, can you just confirm that the website screen is showing?
Yes.
Thank you. So as you'll see, once you've logged on to the dashboard, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this, from our website, you'll have your name up here, and then you'll have this drop-down menu. So if you go down to the network dashboard tab and click on it, it will take you directly to the dashboard. And you will see the home screen. Along the top, we've got performance scores, participation scores, trends, CAPAs, and feedback. Now, once you go onto the home page, it will always take you directly to the performance score page. So you don't need to click anywhere else to get your performance scores. Now, underneath, you will see we've got programs, PRN, analyte, identifier. And with the programs, it is automatically set to all, but you can click on the down arrow to select any of the programs, and it will be all the programs that you are registered for. Similarly, with your PRN, it will show all the PRNs that are under your review. If you are a single participant, it will just be one PRN. If you are somebody who's managing multiple sites, you will see all the sites that are registered. Similarly, with the analytes, you will see for the FB, all the analytes here, DL, all the analytes under DL, RE, HB, and PV. And for all, again, you'll have all the identifiers that are under that registration. So as I said, for us, 20028, these are all the identifiers, all the analyzers that we have registered in the scheme. What you can also see here is shows the show button will toggle between scores and DIs, and I'll come back to that in a second. In this box here, you can see, because I haven't filtered anything up here, you will see all the PRNs, all the identifiers, the survey numbers, the machine, group matrix, so the instrument group or the matrix depending on the program, the analyte, the serial number of the machine. I'm just going to reduce my screen a little bit. You'll see score, report, return, opening date, and closing date. Now, as I said, if you haven't filtered it on any of these at the top, so with the program, the PRN, analyte, or identifier, you will have all the information in this box in one view. And you can see down the bottom, it says showing 1 out of 100 or 404 entries. So you can click through these pages or click on next to then view all those PRNs and identifiers. You will also see now there's a pie chart on the right-hand side, and this here will show you, because I am filtered on scores, it will show you, oh, sorry, no, it's showing you the overall performance. So it's giving you the percent of satisfactory, unsatisfactory, or borderline. And if I click over to DIs, it will then show me DIs of greater than 3 or DIs of less than 3. So just clicking it back onto scores, I will just now go down to drilling down to show you what you can see on this screen. So for example, if you chose full blood count, now I only have one PRN, so it doesn't matter if I leave it on all or click on that PRN, it will show me the same information. But if I had other PRNs, I could then select the PRN that I wanted. Now I can go to an analyte. So for example, if I wanted to see the hemoglobin performance for a particular machine, I then would choose the identifier, and down here you can already see that this information has changed and it's become a lot more clearer because it's just showing me all the information for machine H and for all the surveys that I have participated in. When you look at the return column, you can see a yes or a no, and that means where it says yes, I have returned for that survey. So if there are any no's, so for example, for 2409 409 FB, if there was a no, that meant I didn't return any results for that survey. So as you can already see at a glance, you can kind of start to see quite quickly how you can see the information at a glance. You can also see the scores. So it will show you for each survey. So 2401 FB, I've got a score here of 10.6, for O2, 12.1, 12.9. You would also have noticed that the pie chart changed as well. And again, so you can see here, I've got 100% satisfactory performance. If I had any no's, you will notice, and it depending on how many no's I had, you will see the unsatisfactory would be at a different percent. And if I change that to DIs, you can then see now for my machine H, I have got the majority of DIs are less than 3, but 4% of my DIs are greater than 3. And if I wanted to drill down further to see which machines where I was getting these DIs of greater than 3, I can filter that further. So where it says filter by DI, I can put 2.5, for example, and then it will give me now all the DIs here. So it will tell me at what survey. So in this case, 2404 FB, where I got a DI of greater than 3. So here, if you go along next to the serial number, it says DI and then target. So with the DI, it's telling me there straight away that's 3.57. If I had left it on all, again, similarly, you can show all the machines with a DI of greater than 3. And there you'll see down my identifier side, I've got G and H, those two machines, and I can see the DIs straight away for all those machines. If I wanted to view the report, I can click on here, view. And I don't know, hopefully you can see up here that it then downloads that report. And now I can see the report exactly the same as what you would do when you traditionally log onto the site to view the report. That's a lot quicker way to do it. So now I could click for machine G. The reports are exactly the same as what you're used to. So it will give me the report for all the machines, instruments that I have registered. And then I can scroll, download it, and save it wherever I want. So if you do filter up here and you click on to the next tab, participation scores, one thing I just want to mention, with the reports, they're only available for the last 2 years. So anything greater than 2 years old will not be available. And currently, if you do have an amended report, or if we have issued an amended report for a particular survey, you won't be able to get the original report. This is something we are working on, and we hope to have it functional at the next update of this dashboard. So if I go on to the next tab, participation scores, any filters that I had from the first page will remain. So if you want to unfilter things or change the filters, you just need to make sure that you do that, just like you did on the first performance scores page. Now, this is showing me my participation scores. Again, I can do it for full blood count, for my PRN. I cannot change the analyte on this page, but I can choose whatever machine I want to, or leave it as all so I can see all the machines. So if I click on show non-return late only, now, like I did on the other screen where I had the yes or no, this will again show me at a glance. If I click on that, it's going to show me any of my instruments where I haven't returned or I've returned late. And as you can see, nothing is showing on this screen. That means I have actively participated in every single survey. Okay, so if I hadn't, you will see information on that screen. Cumulative score, again, I can then filter on greater or equals to 100. So again, if I wanted to know which machines, which instruments I had and analytes that I had a score of greater than 100, I could then use that filter. Similarly, with 50, I could do the same. We will be changing this to just say, instead of greater or equals to 50, it will just say equals to 50 or equals to 100. So just keep an eye out on that change. So if I put it back to all, I get all my information. And again, at a glance, you can see the non-participation score is 0. If I hadn't participated for one survey, there would be a 50 somewhere along here, or 100 if I hadn't participated for 2 or more surveys. And again, my non-participation score, again, my cumulative non-participation score is 0. What I could also do, just like on before, I could get the PDF, and you can do the report again here by clicking view. I could also click Excel, and you'll see up here that I now have downloaded an Excel sheet, and I could then download that information as an Excel spreadsheet and then save that, and I can then manipulate the data. So you might want to use filters or, cut and paste things across to internally to kind of utilize that to demonstrate information however you choose to use it. If I click now onto the trends page, now you can see that this is a very different view to the one that we've seen on the past 2 pages. Now this is showing me, because of the filters I have on here, for the full blood count program, for my PRN, it's showing me all the analytes for machine H. Now, if I put this to all machines, this is where it doesn't want to work. I'll go back to machine H. Now, it's a lot of information, as you can see at a glance. Now, if I choose a particular analyte, you will instantly see that all the other information has gone, and it's just showing me for the white cells. And along the graph, you can see on the x-axis, this is my score. So this is going from basically 15 to 55. And along the y-axis, we've got, the surveys for the last 12 surveys, 14 surveys that you would have participated in. And the same on the graph to the right, all the surveys along the bottom. And then this one is showing me DIs. So I've got the DIs, which is capped at 3.5, so 0 to 3.5 along the x-axis. If I click on to any one of the dots, it will give me an expanded explanation of what that is. So it's telling me at 2407 FB1 for machine H, I've got a DI of 2.4. This is particularly useful if you've got more than one analyte there and you want to kind of whittle down to see what I'm seeing. So where I've clicked here, you can see it's for the MCV, and that DI is 1.5. What you can also do is if you click on any of these tabs, it will remove all those analytes, so you don't have to filter it from up here. And now this again is just showing me the white cells, and I can do the same over here for the scores. So again, I can just see the white cells here. I can then see two, so I can see, so if we wanted to do red cells and hemoglobin, for example, and I could do that here as well. So let me just remove that. Now I can see how my red cells and hemoglobin are comparing. I might want to compare analytes with each other. And again, it can be a bit muddled on the DI graph because it's a lot of dots, a lot of different information. But as I said, you can click onto a dot and it can give you, and it can break that down for you. But similarly, I can then just remove things from there just to tidy it up and see just one bit of information. With the next version of the software, we will be showing that the DIs above 3.5 will be displayed as equal to, sorry, greater than or equal to 3.5. You'll also be able to select multiple instruments, and you'll be able to toggle between a line and a bar chart. So you can toggle the DIs and the scores between line and bar charts as well. So there'll be more improvements coming on that. If we click onto the CAPAS, this isn't live as yet. So as you can see, it's coming soon. The CAPA page will replace the need for the UK NEQAS scheme director to send out any performance letters, and then resulting in you either calling or emailing us back to update about your actions. So you'll be able to document your investigation outcomes along with any corrective or preventative actions here. It will also allow us at UK NEQAS to track and manage any issues related to deviations in performance. We then have the feedback page, which, as it says, it allows you to give feedback. So it says, do you have any comments or suggestions? So you can leave, just type in your comments or suggestions. I'll just give you a starter here and then submit it, and that will come to us and we can review those. So we do ask that you do, and you all have, if you are able to submit results online and get your results, you will have access to this dashboard as I had showed you at the beginning. And we encourage you to actively use it. And please provide us feedback. So if there's any improvements or you'd like us to make, anything that's missing that you feel that actually would be useful to have, you can leave those comments in the feedback page, submit it, and we can then review and act on those accordingly.
Thanks, Yvonne. That was great. I think that everyone will agree that was a really helpful demo of the new dashboard. Right, so the first question is from an anonymous attendee. So they're asking, what if our DI is high for a result, but our score is less than 100? Should I be worried?
So with DIs, the DI is showing you the deviation from the mean at that particular survey. And your performance score is accumulation of your scores over the last 3 surveys or 6 specimens. So in a way, it's about reviewing those independently of each other, because as I said, the DI is showing you what's happening at that given survey. So what you want to kind of note with your DI is, yes, you will have your own internal actions. So if your actions was to say at 2.5, I need to investigate it, which is absolutely fine. It's up to you what you want to determine that to be. When you look at that, the important thing is to look at it against the target mean and see how far you're away from that mean. So is it clinically significantly relevant in terms of, are you very far away from the mean or are you quite close to the mean? I think with modern analyzers, results can be tight, and when you look at the data, sometimes it doesn't take much for you to be far away from the mean and therefore get a high DI. So it is important for you to look at your score against the mean and determine if it's clinically significant and does it warrant any actions. And in a lot of cases, it doesn't. In some cases, we do have people who have a very high DI, and it's because they've used the wrong units, and therefore that would quite straight away tell them what is going on and what's wrong at that survey. So when you're looking at the score, as I said, it's an cumulative score. So what you want to do, if you find it's trending up, you might want to then go back and then look at the last 3 surveys and see what's happening. Because if you're continuously, I think you need to have 3 lots of 2.5 consecutive 2.5 DIs of greater than 2.5 to get a score of greater than 100. So therefore, you want to look back and see what's happening there, because you might want to trend back and have a look at, actually, I've started to get high DIs here and it's continually to go up. So I need to go back and kind of have a look at what's happening at those surveys. The other thing to note is it's always worth going back and looking at your IQC for that instrument, because you might see that if you're trending either negatively, so if you've got a negative or positive bias, you might see that your IQC is also trending in the same way. So you might want to go back and think, actually, if you're trending the same way, you might want to do some tweaks on the analyzers. And I'm saying that, I'm going to put a little caveat on that, is because you don't want to kind of use NEQAS results to think your analyzers, something's wrong with your analyzer and start doing tweaks on there. But it's just about looking at different things to kind of think about, am I happy with what I'm seeing at this survey in line with what I'm seeing with my patient results? So if I'm not getting adverse patient results and I'm okay there, then I would suggest there isn't anything wrong with the machine. However, you might want to do some kind of adjustments if you see your IQCs trending. But again, we do leave that up to participants to look at that internally. We are also here, so if there's any help that you need to look at your high DIs, high performance scores, we are always happy to do that with you.
Yeah. And I think we always encourage our participants, don't we, Yvonne, to review the report at every survey.
Yes.
Don't wait until your score
Yeah.
breaches the 100. It's important to look at every result that has been submitted, every DI, every analyte that's been scored. Just have a quick review before the next survey, if possible.
Yeah.
Keep on top of it that way. Okay, so the next question, also from an anonymous attendee. Is there a way to print a graph aside from just doing a screenshot, i.e., is there a print button on the website, on the
Not for the
dashboard?
graph at the moment. I think that's a really great feedback, and it's something that, again, you could put in the feedback form. I think it's something we can take away from
Mm,
this webinar as well. So yeah, at the moment, the graphs are not printable.
yeah, so we can look into maybe making that
Yeah.
feature. Um, okay, next question is from Louise Walklet. Thank you, Louise. Can the graph show positive and negative DIs to aid trending, or are they all converted to positive DIs?
It will show both. Um, so I'm just looking at what we've got on here. I think it's just showing positives, but I would imagine it shows both. And I don't have an example of one because we don't have any on our 20028 PRN.
I imagine the ones that
But
we're showing are positive just because they
these,
are
yeah,
positive.
it
But I
it
think if
was
they were negative, it would show them.
it should show everything, because, as I said, when you scroll down, you can see your DIs, and if there is a minus there, it will show on the graph. Um, I'm going to have to look into that as well. But it should show everything that you're seeing in terms of the performance of
So
your
what's on the
analyze.
report,
Yeah,
whether it's negative or positive, will
yeah,
show, it will be the exact
yeah,
score. Everything on this dashboard is reflective of what's on the
yes,
reports, so it
yeah.
shouldn't be any different. And if it
No, it
is,
shouldn't be. Yeah.
question it, yeah, and contact us. Okay, thank you. The next question is from Sugita Madhusudanan. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that quite correctly. When is the dashboard going live, please?
The dashboard is live, so you can actually access it now.
Yeah, currently live and up and running. Um, Another question is from another anonymous attendee. As the reports will be available on the dashboard, will you continue to issue links to reports for review via email when they are ready?
We have no active plans to change that at the moment. I think what we want to do is get people using it and used to doing it. I think we'll still keep the link in the email, but it's something we will re-review at a later date.
Yeah, we have no major plans to
No,
change anything at the moment. The
no,
dashboard is just there to go alongside everything we're currently doing,
yeah,
isn't it, Yvonne? So if we do
yeah,
have any major changes in the way we're doing things, we will announce
yeah,
them well in advance.
yeah.
Okay, and then next question is from Mike. Is it possible to filter between two dates? For example, from the 1st of January 25 to February 2025, or between surveys, for example, between 2404 FB and 2505 FB?
Oh, I think that's a really great feedback there. At the moment, no, it's just the single date, or the single survey. So you can only toggle here to change the order of them, but we can't filter for showing two different surveys. The only way around it in that respect would be to download an Excel sheet and then do the filtering from there. But it's something actually we can also feed back to our IT team and see if that is possible.
Yeah, that's great feedback.
Mm.
It's great that we're holding these webinars and demos to get these kind of questions. So thank you. Please continue to ask questions if you think of any more. Um, the next question is there any alert for no submission? So I assume that means if they haven't participated, do they get an alert for it?
Not at the moment, no. Um, Again, it's normally, I mean, the alerts normally come from from the performance monitoring side when we're doing that, and you get a letter.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great feedback as well in terms of flagging up straight away that you haven't returned, because there are a number of reasons why people haven't returned, and some of it is due to staffing issues or oversights in the lab. So I think that's a really great feedback to give to our IT team as well and see if that's possible.
Mm. Yeah, that is something we could consider
Yeah,
implementing, isn't it?
yeah.
And then another question is from Reginald Norris. Will it be possible to change the DI from +/3 on the site?
Um, so I don't quite understand that question.
Yeah, I'm
So
not sure I understand it. Will it be possible
could
to
you,
change?
I don't know if they could
Um,
give a bit more
Maybe you could elaborate
detail.
on that
Yeah.
question, Yvonne. Sorry, Reginald, if you wouldn't mind asking again. Will it be possible to change the DI from, maybe he means to filter out DIs that are +/3? Is that possible, Yvonne, to
I mean,
filter
you
high
can filter,
DIs?
you
You
can
can filter
filter.
by
So
DI.
you can so for example, I could put two in this um filter by DI, and
Mm.
then it's going to show me all the
DI is greater than
DIs
2.
greater than two, and I can choose any number and do the same thing. Um, it doesn't change it. Oh, actually, maybe it does. Yeah, it does change it in here as well. So you can also see it along the DI search here.
Mm.
So that's the only way at the moment that we can do that filtering.
Okay, Reginald did send a second message. So the graph is showing performance of greater than 3. What if I'd like to look at greater than 2? I think that's what you just
Okay, so
demoed.
yeah, so there you go, Reginald. You can just
I
put
hope.
the two in the box and it will show you everything that's greater than two. What it won't do is show you between two and three. So as we said, it's everything greater than two.
Yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Okay, the next question is from someone called Palpugini Lompo. Some rows are edited in red in the dashboard of our lab regarding Sysmex XNL sometimes. Do you have an explanation for this?
I could you elaborate on that a bit more? We're talking about on the
think it
report on the.
was some rows are edited in red in the dashboard of our lab. So is there ever a function where those lines on the table will show red for any
So
reason?
we've got in the program that's red, but I'm guessing they mean on the results.
I think they
I
do.
think there was hang on, I'm just gonna go across because I did notice um go to um I'm not sure about that one. I thought I saw some let me just go here. I'm not sure. We'd have to I think that's something we'd have to get back
I think that
on.
would be helpful if you could maybe send us a screenshot of your dashboard,
Yeah,
and then we can look into
it'd
whether,
be useful.
because
Yeah.
it could be an error or it could be a reason for it. So yeah, if you wouldn't
It
mind
yeah, it might be
sending
to
us an
do with the
email.
results and highlighting that it's out of consensus. or a high DI, but without seeing it, I'm not sure.
Mm. And these are all things that will also help us with feedback as
Mm.
to so that we can see how it's looking for the participants. So yeah, please do email us if you can with that. Okay, another question from an anonymous attendee. Will sample entry still be completed the same way as now?
Sample entry. Um,
I am taking that to mean just how they enter the results on the website.
oh, okay. Yes, it will be the same.
Yes. As I said, we're not making any changes to the way we're doing anything or how results are being entered or managed. This dashboard is just supplementary to what we're already doing. Um, and another question is from Rui Late. I oversee several laboratories. If I'm registered with several PRNs, can I have access to all of them with the same login?
Yes, you can. So what you would see is, um, I'll just go to all. You will see, as I said, we've only got one PRN under our scheme for UK NEQAS. But if you had several PRNs, you will see them here. So you'll see the list here, and all you have to do is click on one PRN, and you can click on the identifier. If they're all there, you will see all the information in that box, and then you can drill down however you want to drill down on that.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I've got another question. I had a question earlier about is this webinar being recorded and will it be available to watch later? It will be. There is also a second one of these webinars, which I will go into more detail at the end. But Sujitha, I've seen your comment about you missed the first 5 minutes of the webinar. Is there anything I need to know? Um, I think again, it was just the demo with that probably the first 5 minutes of the demo that you missed. But if you do want to watch it again later, you will be able to, and you can also attend the second webinar session, which is in March. So I will give details about that in a second. Another question from Davinia Bergen. Do I need to register with all PRNs for all sites?
You will need to if you want to have access to all those PRNs.
Yeah. Um, And another question is from Susai Alphonse. If my dashboard shows 2% and I want to check which parameter is making an issue, is it possible to pick up from the graph or do I need to get it from the filter options?
So if you were in trends, let me just go again to my machine. Um, so for example, hemoglobin, could you just repeat the question again,
Yeah,
Bashori?
she said, if my dashboard shows 2% and I wanted to check which parameter is making an issue, is it possible to pick up from the graph or do I need to get it from the filter options?
It's easier to see from the filter options, but you can get it from the graph. So for example, you can see on the trends page, I have got all the parameters for the full blood count. Um, so it is quite hard to see it. So if I clicked on, for example, I've got 2.87 here. If I clicked on that, it will tell me for 09FB1, the MCHC was 2.87. So that is a way to do it. Um, it's easier if you just take out some of these. So if I want to just look at white cells, for example, just because it's less points on there. And then that way it's easier to see, okay, there's a 2.4 here. When was that? So that you can see was at 07 FB1. And you can see again for machine H and it's 2.1. So there's two ways of doing it. As I said, you can have all of them there and then pick the point here where you can see the twos, or just filter it to a parameter and do it from there.
Okay. Um, So another question is from Sujitha. Can you renew your membership from the dashboard?
No, you would have to do that from the registration process as you normally do.
So I've just noticed another question that came up in the chat function, which I'll just quickly read out. Somebody asked, can you show some data from a multi-PRN screen for one parameter?
Unfortunately, I can't
We
because I
can't
don't
at the
have
moment, can
multiple
we?
PRNs. Um, However, it'll be pretty much the same as looking at it with all the analytes. So if I had one analyte with multiple PRNs, so if I had all, it will show me exactly the same as it's showing me now. So these would be all the, so for example, if I had selected white cells for all my PRNs, that's exactly how it will show here.
Yeah. Okay, I've got another comment or question from Maria Jose Teles. I hope I pronounced that correctly. We can't see what is the y-axis unit. Yvonne, do you want to just go into what the y-axis is
So
referring to?
so there's two graphs here. So on the one that says scores, this up here, sorry, I always forget which is X and Y.
Vertical.
So down the bottom, this is showing you the surveys. Um, so it will show you the last 14 surveys that you have participated in. So the current one being 2502 FB and then going back through to 2104 FB.
And the
And
vertical
then
axis,
so then we've got
that's the y-axis.
so with the thanks. With the scores graph, I thought I said that wrong the first time. So with the scores graph, we're going from 0 to 80. So that's the score going,
Analytical performance score.
the
Yeah.
analytical performance score. And with the DI graph, this is the DI. So from 0 to 3.5. And it's going up to 3.5 because the DIs are capped at 3.5.
So yeah, just to mention on the graph, the line graph for the scores,
Yeah.
it's currently on Yvonne's screen showing 80 as the maximum, but that can actually go to,
Yeah,
what is it,
it can
150
go,
would be the
yes,
maximum
because it will depend on, I mean, this is showing me for the highest score that I've got
that
on
we've
this
got
graph.
on.
But if the score's higher, yes, it will go up to 150.
So for anyone who might have forgotten, it's when your score goes over 100 that you would want to be concerned because you will then start receiving
Yeah,
performance letters from us
I would, yes, I would say I would start to kind of look at things,
earlier.
investigations around if my score was trending up to 80, I'd start to look at things at 80 and before it gets to 100. You could also notice if you saw, when you look at this at a glance, if you saw that your it might not be hitting 80s yet, but if you see your score graph going up at that trajectory, I would be looking at that as well because it should really be fluctuating as you see on the screen here. So as I said, if you're finding it is going straight up, I would start to look at it even sooner than, before it hits 80.
Yeah, because it's always best to catch it before we have to
Yeah,
write to you, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Another question is from Susai Alphonse. Is that sorry, is that covered? Sorry, does the dashboard, I think they are asking, does the dashboard cover all the surveys at the moment?
The only one it's not covering at the is ESR.
So in terms of, yeah,
Yeah,
automated counting
yeah. So with the
surveys,
automated counting, it's covering everything. Yes.
except for ESR, yeah. Um, and got a comment from Emma Tranter, who I think asked the question about the multi-PRN screen for one parameter. It seems to show only one PRN. I think just to mention that that's the way it's going to show at the moment. But I think to go back to the earlier question of if there were multiple PRNs
Yeah.
registered, you would be able to see the others
Yes.
from the
So
drop-down list.
yes, as I said, because so 20028 is the UK NEQAS PRN. We only have one PRN. If I was managing multiple sites and I had registered and I was registered to view them all, then I would see all those PRNs under that drop down.
Yeah. Okay, another question from an anonymous attendee. Can you explain again the kappa section, please? And is it when we encounter a problem and what we did after that
Yeah, so the Kappa section, as I said, it's not live at the moment. So this is
in
something, a
development?
feature that is in development. So it will replace the need for the UK NEQAS director, scheme director, to send out letters. So currently we send out letters to you, any performance letters, whether it's a non-performance a letter about your non-perform participation in the programs and surveys, or your analytical score is greater than 100. or 50 or 100. So what we would do is write to you. You would then reply back either by phone or email, and then we document that internally. Now, this will save us time in doing that. So it will be send an alert to you via the dashboard. You would go onto the dashboard on the Kappa page, and you will then see what the issue is, and then you'll be able to straight away reply to that. So whether it's, oh, no one was in the clinic, or staffing issues, we're unable to submit results, or issues with the machine, we've had the engineering, you'd be able to put whatever it is down in that comment box and submit that back to us.
Yeah, I think the Kappa function, when that does go live, will be very useful for us, but also for participants, because it's a place for you to log as well what actions you took. So it will be very useful
Mm,
when we get there. But yeah, we will update
yeah.
when those developments are ready. Okay, I'll move on to some other questions. So another question from Susai Alphonse is, if my DI is greater than 3, or if we reported the wrong species identification on malaria, is it possible to see whether NEQAS has taken any actions like a letter or email to PRN owner? I assume that means via the dashboard. Is
So,
it possible to see?
um,
Not
no,
currently.
because at the moment we're not, as I said, the Kappa function isn't working as yet at the moment anyway, it's under development. So all we the letters will be sent out as they normally are. We're not able to go onto the dashboard and make any adjustments in terms of documenting if a letter's gone out. However, when the Kappa tab is working, it will eliminate the need to send out letters. So it will only be once the Kappa, the functionality is working, it will just be all done via that page.
Okay, so another question is from anonymous attendee. Are there any plans to add additional programs such as blood film morphology and manual differential to the dashboard?
We are reviewing what more we want to add to the dashboard. So at the moment, it is just what you've seen, and we will be looking at further developments in the future.
Oh, it's just fixing something on my screen. Okay, and will ESR be shown in the dashboard in the future? Same
That's something
question.
we would hope to develop in the future as well.
Yeah. Um, okay, just checking on the time. So I've got another question. If it doesn't show the it doesn't show the infectious mononucleosis program, would this be
No.
included onto the dashboard in the near future, please?
We've having conversations about the qualitative, I always get quantitative and qualitative mixed up as well, the quantitative programs as well, because that's obviously a very different way of showing data. So at the moment, we're not looking at doing that, but it's something again we want to look at developing in the future.
Um, Another question is from an anonymous attendee, might be a good one to just refresh everybody on the call's memory about. What does an analytical score of 50 and 100 mean?
So let me go back. I'm just want to go back to, so if you have a non-participation score or an analytical score? Because we've got, I'm when they say 50 and 100,
It's
I'm assuming it
asking
is the
analytical.
non-particip. Okay, I'll go through both, because so if you had a non-participation score of 50, it means you haven't returned for one of the last three surveys. And if it's 100, it's two of the last three surveys. When it comes to a performance score, 50, so I'm going to go to the trends page, and let's go to, oh no, it doesn't want to work for me. Okay. So actually it'd be good to show a graph, but I don't have one of, sorry, I just wanted to show the report. Um
You downloaded it earlier.
does it
Oh,
show
there it is.
here? Did my screen change?
Yes,
Okay.
it's changed.
So No, I want to go to, sorry, best bear with me. Sorry. So I'm going to just make that a little bigger. So if you see the graph, the performance score graph that we have on our reports, you'll see it goes from 0 to 150. So a score of 50, you can see actually is fine. You know, as I said, we do expect things to fluctuate, but I wouldn't be concerned with a score of 50. I would say I would start to be concerned. So if you can see from it's around 80, it's a lighter gray, and then from 100 to 150, it's a darker gray. So when you're hitting into these gray areas, so the lighter gray, as we said earlier, around 80, that's when I'd start to be concerned and want to look at what's going on before I get into the 100 and above. Um, and also, as I said, if you see, so you see this is trending downwards. If it was trending the other way and going at a trajectory for multiple surveys, I would then start to be looking at that, even if before it gets to the around 80 mark. So as I said, 50 is fine. I would expect scores to kind of fluctuate around here. But once it's below the grey area, I'm not so concerned. When it starts hitting into the 80s and above, then that's when I start to get concerned and want to do some internal investigations.
Yeah. Um, okay, this actually is a good question. Another one from Susai Alphonse. What will happen if my analyzer is not in use, and how is it going to appear in the dashboard?
So if you put a comment on the website saying analyzer not in use, it will record as a returned result. So therefore, I'll go back to the performance scores where it says return. So if you don't put anything, it will say no, you haven't returned. So then you would get a 50 non-participation score. If you put a comment in the on the website, machine not in use is sufficient, it will record as you returning a result. So you'll have a yes and therefore have no impact on that survey. What you will have, however, is when you look at the report, you will see when you look at results, sorry, I'll go down. As you'd normally do, there'll be your result, nothing there. But then the target will be there because that will be the target for the survey. But however, on the dashboard, it will just show us the scores will carry over. So you'll have exactly the same score as your last survey. You just won't have a DI at that survey.
Thank you. And another question about, are the blood films, sorry, from Silvana Abella, are the blood films, rapid antigen screen, abnormal hemoglobin going to be displayed on the dashboard? I think we answered this earlier, didn't we, Yvonne? Any programs that are not currently on the dashboard, at some point maybe, but we will update when we've got them. So Yvonne, if you just remind what is available on the dashboard programs wise
So at the
for
moment,
everybody.
it's automated differential leukocyte count, the FB, hemoglobin only, plasma viscosity, our point of care hematology and reticulocyte programs.
I hope that answers the question. Um, okay, I've got a question here from Mike Ntsabane. Hope I pronounced that correctly. I guess it's a hematology dashboard means hematology only. Yes, you won't be able to see blood transfusion or other
Yeah,
UK NEQAS schemes on
yeah,
that
that's right.
on this dashboard at the moment. And again, as Yvonne said, just those particular programs at the moment are on the dashboard. Another question is there a quicker way to clear the filters, please? From Sujitha. Yvonne, do you want to just show how? So I assume she means once you've filtered something, how do you reset it?
No, it's just a matter of going back and just clicking on all or whichever um, program or PRN or analyte that you want to select.
Yes. And another question from Susai Alphonse. Just curious to know how the scores are calculated, please. Is it based on the last 3 surveys?
It is, yes. I don't have all the science knowledge in my head, but yes, it's based on the last 3 surveys, and for most of the programs, it's log transformed data as well.
And if anyone does want further information on how the analytical performance score or the DI is calculated, it's all in our Haematology
Yep.
Participants Manual, which is available on our website. And if you can't find it for any reason, please do feel free to email us directly and we will help. So just to address a final comment from Emma Tranter, who asked about the multiple PRNs. She said, I mean for myself with multiple PRNs. So Emma, if you are looking at the dashboard and you think it doesn't look right for you and what you need it to show, just contact us. If you send us an email, we'll try and help you figure that
Yeah.
out. It could be that you are supposed to be set up for multiple PRNs and it's not for showing for you for some reason. So we can look into that. Okay, I think this has been a really helpful session. We've had some really great questions. So thank you very much for everyone who participated and submitted questions.